Great. Perfect. I can see we've got a few attendees there. Well, kia ora koutou and welcome everyone to the Canterbury Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference. My name is Angela Caves, Employment Liaison Advisor for Connected.govt.nz. We're into session 4 of our conference, our last session of the day, and we're going to be hearing from the wonderful Maria Gold from the Networkers Group. Maria is here to share her wealth of knowledge on the advantages of business networking. Before we hand over to Maria, though, we're going to begin our session by opening with karakia like we have with every other session. So it's my pleasure to hand over to my colleague Tessa, who's going to lead us in karakia.
Kia ora koutou and welcome. Again, for those returning, or welcome if it's your first session, let us open. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. E hia ki ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, ti hei mauri ora. Kia ora.
Wonderful, thank you, Tess. Before we hand you over to our presenter, Maria, I just want to do a quick reminder for those who have been in the other sessions, but those joining us just for the first time today, that we have the Q&A function available. So if you have any questions throughout the session, please feel free to use the Q&A function. We also have the chat available for any links or any other questions or any queries that you might have. So please feel free to use both of those functions, and Tessa, Diana, Tip, and myself will be there supporting in the background whilst Maria is doing her fabulous presentation. Let's get started. So welcome Maria, who is the founder and creative director of the Networkers. We're going to hand you over and Maria's going to share screens and we'll let her get into it.
Okay, hi everybody. Thank you to Angela and Tessa for the introductions. So as they alluded, I am the I guess the creative director, the owner, the small business owner, the person with a dream who started networking. And so I thought today that what I'd do is talk a bit about business networking, challenges that business owners have. What is business owner networking? Why would you even bother? Are there any advantages? And how do you go about networking? So I thought the best thing to do first was to actually start with my journey. My background is that I actually started nursing when I was 18. I've travelled overseas, I've nursed overseas, I spent 10 years overseas travelling and working, and then I ended up going to Scotland, becoming a midwife. On return to New Zealand, after working as a midwife, I actually had a couple of kids and then decided to go into more of a wellness area of health, therefore studied therapeutic massage, aromatherapy, and eventually craniosacral therapies. So as you can see, I had a great skill set of things that I could actually build a business with. When in 2009, I came down to Christchurch with my 2 daughters. I was a single parent at that stage. And as you know, a little while later, we ended up having the earthquakes. So the earth shook, the businesses fell over, my business fell over, many businesses fell over. And it was quite a rough ride to get back into something that was sustainable. And as you can see, I've got a picture there of, this is where we are in 2022. There are still places in Christchurch, as you know, that have not been rebuilt yet. There are still remnants of buildings that really should be down. But we've come a very, very long way. And I'm proud to say nowadays that I consider myself a Canterburyan, and I love it here. So just going back to coming to Christchurch, my biggest thing was that I I had the skill set, and I see this so much with business owners. They have a skill set or they have a product and they go, yay, I'm going to build a business. And that's fine, because normally you know your skill set very well or your product very well, but you don't know business. Okay. And that is part of the journey that I have been on for the last 12 years, is actually taking skill sets and turning them into business. I developed a corporate massage business. That was a huge learning curve, and I eventually sold that. And the other thing I did alongside that was business networking. And about 5.5 years ago, I actually started our own brand and put all my expertise and that everything that I'd learned from other people into a journey to actually make that happen. So in case you haven't worked it out, I'm very much into knowledge. I'm very much into empowerment. That comes from being a nurse. It comes from being a midwife, because by God, when you've got a woman in labour, you have got to empower her and give her the knowledge she needs right there and then to do what she needs to do. And I'm sure there are people that will relate to that, or have been beside women who have gone through that process. And so this is core to what I actually believe in and what I actually bring to the business world. I also have learned a few things as well that I truly believe in. I think that everyone needs a community to identify with. And one of the things that I worked out quite early on is that a lot of people go into business and they have no business people around them. They have no community. I've also watched and know that collaboration and synergies are just absolutely amazing. And if you can do all of that and everybody gets a great outcome, then we actually have a success. So just a couple of things here. The success rate of businesses succeeding in 2 years is pretty lousy. A lot of people fail. If you can get through 2 years, you're doing really well. If you can get through 5, you're doing even better. So I just pulled a couple of these figures out. And then the fact that, 97% of enterprises have fewer than 20 employees, and that really small business is actually the backbone of New Zealand business. So having said that, what are the challenges? Because what I've found is that there's not a heck of a lot out there for people that are starting up. You make it till you fake it. You often have no idea what you're doing, and you make a lot of very costly mistakes. So one of my big things is, working out if you've got a viable idea or a skill. I find a lot of people come along and they go, oh, I've got this idea, or I'm a massage therapist, I'm a beautician, I'm a this, or I have this product. And you actually say to them, so, where are you going to, where's your business? What are you going to do with it? How long do you want to put, how much time do you want to put in it? And then, of course, if you talk to accountants or business coaches, they'll go well, have they just bought themselves a job? Are you a, let's go, plumber? You got sick of working for the boss, so you went out to be a plumber on your own. You've got the skill set, but you don't have the business now. How long are you going to last? And when is the tax department going to come after you because you've just, haven't done any of your accounts? So have you got a job? Have you got a hobby? Or actually, do you have a business? And of course, businesses are able to stand up on their own when you walk away. So there's quite a number of us who don't quite have that, but we're quite happy with where we're at. And then, of course, the other thing is potential clients. We say to people, well, who are your potential clients? What's your target market? Who are your competitors? And most people, when they start in business, go, oh, everybody. No. It's not normally everybody. So these are the things that need to be honed in. And the reason you're doing that is because you need to grow, you need to bring the systems together, you need to have a strategy, you need to have a direction. And these are things that small business owners often don't know. They don't know what their direction is. The biggest one, I think, often is that they don't have the right professional help. And they spend a lot of money on lawyers, might not get an accountant or a bookkeeper, pay a website company a lot of money and not get anywhere, which happens quite a bit, unfortunately. Sorry if someone's on website, because if you get good website people on board, wow, they make such a difference. And of course, cash flow. You've got to actually invest not just your time and energy and expertise, but you've also got to have cash flow to actually move your business forward. So these are some of the things that you know, they really are challenges. And I guess also just understanding business and what it can be and where it can go, and having that realistic check-in. Because if you're like me and you're an optimist, then basically, yeah, my business can go worldwide and it's amazing and we'll do it, you know, by the end of the year. Somewhere in there, you might need a bit of a reality check. The other thing is marketing. So what's the right vehicle to get your messages out to those clients that you've now identified, and who's going to help you with that? Because a lot of people will say, yeah, we can help you with that, hand over the money, but do they offer the correct solutions? And how do you know? And is it at a fair price? Because there's a lot of different pricing out there. Some of my ones that I find and have heard some of our biggest challenges is isolation. Working from home, working long hours, you know, going to your family and your family sort of going, and I used to always do this, you know, talk away about my business, and on reflection, the eyes would just glaze over. I was like, yeah, and they'd nod nicely and everything else, and they'd walk away and get on with their lives. And you really didn't get what you needed from them. They cared for you, they wanted to support you, but they didn't understand, and they didn't have the knowledge. And other things is, you know, your business is always in your head. You carry it around with you all the time. You don't know where to get support, and there's often no balance in your day or your week, because all you're doing is working, or thinking about work and then stressing out. So, yeah. So just to back that up, there was a report done that really showed that, you know, we have got quite a negative impact on our mental and physical health by being in business. And if you think about the challenges from the last couple of years and what we're looking at the moment for the next few months, I know that there are some quite stressed, worried people are wondering if they can actually even, you know, get through to the end of this. And that just sits there all the time eating away at you. I think one of the biggest challenges for me is not knowing what you don't know. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you don't know that you need to get to a certain amount and then you've got to charge GST, you're in trouble. If you end up not putting your accounts in to the tax department or paying your taxes, you're in trouble. If you break the law around privacy, you're in trouble. If you don't get insurance for the right things, you could be in trouble. There's lots of things, and those are just some very, very basic ones. So the beauty of networking, in whatever way that you actually want to look at it, is that the bottom line is, I know someone who knows someone who knows someone. And that's what I find within my organization, is that if I don't know somebody, somebody I know will know somebody. Because at the end of the day, that is how we work. And particularly in Canterbury, it's all about who you know. Not necessarily what you know, it's about who you know. So from there, I thought I'd just sort of go, so what is business networking? And for me, it's a group of people who have business as their commonality and get together at an event. And that could be a regular event, that could be a once-a-year event, it could be all sorts of things. And I really like this quote, which is what I've put in, and it's that the new form of networking is not about climbing a ladder to success. It's about collaboration, co-creation, partnerships, and long-term value-based relationships. Because when you have that, you actually have a team, and you have multiple ways of expanding your business and your reach. So then I thought, well, why would you bother networking? You know, really seriously. And these are some of the things that people have said, and they're only a small amount, but I thought I'd just put a few things on, and you can see what they're like. And yes, it's all about building your business and therefore getting clients. But, you know, we find that a lot of it's getting answers for your day-to-day businesses, maybe meeting people who can help you with those problems. The big one I find is that people work at home all day, all week, and they need somewhere to go where there are people. And the commonality is business. So, okay, so people who are in business that I can talk to, who might get what I'm going through. And also, you know, people get very, very stressed. We're all throwing lots of balls up in the air. And so when you do networking, some of these things could be resolved. So looking at that, what are some of the advantages? And again, these are just some of them, okay? Getting more business. Well, we're all in business to get more business. Got to make the money go round. It's important, okay? But also to build your connections, because while you're in business looking for clients, if you make good connections or you develop business synergies, what actually happens is those connections get to know you and they trust you and they'll recommend you. And let's face it, if you move somewhere and you want a new hairdresser, you know, because your other one's in Auckland or wherever, then what are you going to do? You go to your network and you go, hey, does anyone know a decent hairdresser? Because we're not going to really go down the road and maybe get a cut that we're going to have to walk around with for a week or 2 or 3 looking not that brilliant. So, you know, we always go to our network, we go to our families, we go to our friends, we go all over the place and go, oh, I need a such and such. Where do I, you know, who do you know? Oh, I don't know, but so-and-so will know. I'll get back to you. Okay, those are building your connections. That's how you get your business out there. And then the other thing is you can develop synergies. So we've had situations where different people, let's go a mortgage broker, a finance person, and a property manager have done a seminar. And so they got the seminar together, an hour or 2, got a whole lot of people together, and they talked knowledgeably about all the different parts of their business and how they could help these people to actually get into property. By doing that together, you give so much more and you have so much more potential to be an expert and to get clients, basically. Okay. Networking, also, you pick up lots of knowledge, absolutely heaps and heaps of knowledge from all the different people around you. And as you get to know them and trust them, then you get to actually trust that knowledge as well. Support, huge. Okay, we're going through quite difficult times and we've had a lot of people in our groups supporting each other, going through some rough patches, etc. That's sort of part of the journey. If you're part of a community, we look after each other. And part of that is also just giving back, making friends, giving back, looking after each other, knowing that together we can actually make this happen. It increases your confidence. So I've had people over the years come to the groups. They're very good at what they do. They're very quiet. I'd rather say nothing. And it's been really, really stressful for them to even turn up at the meeting. And so we look after them and they talk in little groups and we just get them talking more and more. And eventually they might do a presentation. And before you know it, 6 months or a year's gone past and they're talking very confidently about what they do, how they do it, etc. And so their whole demeanor has actually changed in that they can cope quite well within a group. And anyway, it feels good to be part of a community. And one of our big things is that we do a lot of giving back. So some of our groups have got behind charities. We've done things around city mission and getting a lot of food to them. There's always a little project happening somewhere where if you're part of a community, just by the sheer numbers, you can actually make a difference. And that's part of what you can do in networking. So when we look at networking, I said earlier on, there's lots of different ways of doing networking. And I think that really the question needs to be, what do you as an individual want to get out of a networking event or a group? Okay, and that, if you think about that in time and expense and everything else, that will determine where you want to go and what you want to do. So you might go to a meeting to learn more about business or your industry. okay, to get support in your business. If you're going to an industry type event, it might be to find new suppliers or contractors, or get more knowledge, get more customers, or build synergies. But basically it's about, you know, meeting new people. And so then what I then look at is, well, you know, there are lots of different types of events out there, and they're for different people, they're for different industries, and really what I would encourage you to do is choose the best networking event for you, and that will depend on what you want out of it. Okay, and there are some determining factors here, partly about how often do you want to attend an event, you know, what time of the day or night do you want to go. A lot of people sort of go, well, I can only come at night, okay, or I can only come once a month, that's plenty for me. In that networking event, what do you actually want to achieve? Okay, and who do you want to meet? So a lot of these events are big, huge events. When I used to go to the chamber, there'd be, you know, 100, 200 people in a room, and actually it's a little bit daunting for some people, and especially if you're an introvert. So there is networking for introverts, and I think personally what you need to be looking for is somewhere where you've got smaller groups and you can better conversations with lesser people, because then you'll feel comfortable and not totally drained. It's still completely doable, and you can absolutely rise to the occasion. So one of my thoughts was, you know, if you're new to networking, here's a couple of thoughts. And I'm sorry, my slide's gone a wee bit funny here. One of the things that I've often done is gone with somebody. It's much easier to meet someone outside an event and catch up and then go in, especially you don't know anybody, it's really different, it's a different place. Do that. Have a bit of an elevator pitch. Not the one that you just say off route. You know, an elevator pitch should be, you should be able to say different sets of sentences depending on the circumstances that give people an idea if they ask you about what you do. If you can make it a more relaxed, friendly, sort of appropriate pitch, it's a heck of a lot better, because it actually sounds quite genuine. A good handshake and a smile. And if you can't or don't know how to do a good handshake, then practice. And if you've got kids, teach your kids how to do it, because a good handshake says a lot about you. You don't want the limp, floppy sort of handshake. You don't want the one that is very vigorous and doesn't let go. You need something in the middle. And a smile. I mean, how many times has a smile made you feel better or given you trust in someone? And of course, being friendly and relaxed is always good. I think one of the things is, when you're at a networking meeting, think about the information you want to receive. You meet somebody, think about, what do I want to know about this person? What would make me want to know more about this person? And if I've only got a few minutes, what are those key things that I might like to ask them? And be quite inquisitive, not to sell to them, not to get them as a client, but purely to find out about them as a person. Because at the end of the day, it's a person that you're going to do business with, not just a client. And the more you get that, get the feel of how to do that, the more naturally it comes. The other thing is to spend more time listening and asking questions. People love to talk about themselves, absolutely love to. So you just need to ask a few questions and you'll find out all kinds of things. You start finding commonalities, then you can share and you can talk around those. That builds trust. Okay, and then what information do you want to give? And again, don't make this a full-on, this is what I do, da 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 da, and put sales pitch in. Rather, just keep it light, keep it relevant, say a little, and that's, you know, that's, remember, you're just starting to develop a relationship. Yeah. So just a few other tips, I guess, at networking meetings. Get there early, get there 5 or 10 minutes early. That gets you there comfortably. You can have a chat, you start to get relaxed. And if you need to stay a little bit later, that's always good. And you can have a bit of a chat. If you're finding there's a few people you want to catch up with, exchange details and organise a meeting or a phone call and ask permission to do that. Could I give you a phone call? Would it be okay if I dropped you an email and we could maybe get together? And just be interested in what they do, what their business is, and where they might need support. Another one is if you've told someone that you're going to follow up, please do that. Okay, it's really important. If you said to someone, yeah, I'll get back to you, and you don't, that's not a good look. You actually make sure you do. And if you don't have a lot of time, even just shoot them a quick text or an email saying, hey, it was lovely to catch up with you. How do you feel about coffee or a drink or whatever? Or if you're too busy, you know, things have got away on you. Look, it was lovely to catch up on you. I will get that information to you in the next day or two, and then make sure you do. Okay. And so that's part of the building the relationship of trust. You can also connect on LinkedIn. I find LinkedIn is absolutely amazing to connect with people, and I normally put a little communication in there with them, and that's just really quite good. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I don't know, whatever you use, that's just, you can try all of those things. Just one little point, please, if you get a business card from someone, be aware that that is not permission to take those details and put them into an email list, a MailChimp or a whatever. Okay, that's a breach of privacy. Unless they gave you permission for that, the only reason you can use them is to actually email them. So be very aware of that one. However, do take the opportunities you've got and make something of them. And just on a more down note, that when you go to events and things, they're always business collectors, you know, serial business card collectors, etc. And they go, hi, I'm so and so, da 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 da. Here's my card. Can I have your card? And then they're off. There's no relationship building there. There is no networking. That is just a card collecting exercise. Please don't do that. Spend time. You're better off to spend time with 5 people at an evening event and getting to know them and work out where you can go and how you can progress than you are to go and hand your cards out to 20 people and know nothing about them. Because in New Zealand, we work with people we trust. We work with people that we've built relationships with. That is the most important thing about networking. So the other thing that I was having a bit of a think about is casual networking. And if you think about this, we do it all the time. All the time. But where do you do it? Barbecues. The supermarket. You might be standing in line. You end up talking to someone. You go to a party. You're on holiday. You know, you might be on the ferry and you get talking to someone. There's lots and lots of places where we can have casual conversations to build relationships. And those relationships or those casual conversations can actually lead to new clients, new synergies, new relationships. And the bottom line is you do not want to sell yourself. You just want to be friendly and curious. And make sure that it's a two-way conversation. Personally, I always carry a business card. I feel quite naked if I haven't got a business card on me. And if I was asked to give one to someone, I would then do that. Okay. So, as Reid Hoffman says, figure out how to get into networks.
The slide you were up to, and then so we've got the networkers slide up. Perfect. Let's jump straight back into it.
So I talked about all that networking ideas and different things because I thought that would be of use to people, because I know it used to terrify me having to go to particularly the Chamber of Commerce meetings, because there'd be so many people and I'd be like, oh my God. And I'd sit outside and rev myself up and work out a strategy of how to get in. So Yeah. Anyway, just a little bit. So there are lots of different networking groups out there. Some are for women only. Some are very, very focused on the dollars, and they record all the dollars, and they expect lots and lots of business being done. We're a little bit different. And I think that just comes from my background in medicine, etc. So let's just go back. We're very much into supporting people and caring about people and making local communities that really look after each other, because I think that's what people need. And even in these times with COVID, we're actually saying we're going to stay physical as long as we possibly can, because we know from the lockdowns that we need each other's company physically. We need to have a laugh together. We need to be able to look at the whole thing and go, how do we get through this? So just coming back, we started in 2016, 5.5 years later, and we've got quite a number of groups. We're not too fussed about the size of our groups. I have got some that are heading towards 30 in members in a group, and others that are as small as, 6 or 10. As long as the people in there get the value, it doesn't matter at all. The big thing is that once you've got a base, you can build on that. And if you've got some really, really good people, we then start to build on who do they want in the room? Who do they want to have do business with? It's not the quantity, it's the quality of the people there. And that is actually part of our whole ethos. We have a range of times. We do nothing in the afternoon apart from 1 and 1:30, because we found 4:30, 5 o'clock doesn't work. People have had enough, they want to go home, and so there's not that regular commitment, and we've tried. And as you can see there, our model of how to get through the country and put this all over the place, no matter how big or smaller places, is to set up a franchise system. So the franchisees would actually look after an area and develop that and grow. But it's always about local. So our facilitators are local people working with local businesses in a local venue for the good of that community. They include business people, they include charities. We have charity memberships, which are gifted. We do little projects for local people. There's always something going on, and each group has its own dynamics, and each group has its own goals of what they want to achieve in a community during the year. And we give them permission and we empower them. So just the basics. We've talked about creating opportunities. Our meeting format's a little different from most people. We have a facilitator who does introductions. There's some general sharing as a group. As you can imagine, if you've got 30 people there, you will have a few people that have had things happening and they will talk about that. Then we have a presentation by a member, or it might be a TED talk, or it might be an outside speaker, or they'll be talking about their business or a point of expertise. We now do business spotlights where somebody might have a problem, and so they come to the table with that, and the group of people in the room actually help them resolve or give them some direction on that. And then the last part of the meeting, we break up into groups of 4 or 5 or 6, and they each get 4 or 5 minutes to talk. And that is where the magic happens, because you sit around as if you are having a coffee with friends and you're yakking away about problems or just different things you've come across, and people all help each other. So what we offer is 2 weeks to come along, no obligation. And we do this because number one, we want you to suss us out. Okay, if you want to come and be part of Networkers, I want you to know and to feel that this is a right fit for you. It's a right fit for you, and it's a right fit for your business. If it's not, then there's no point. You will get no benefits, you will contribute nothing, you will not get anything back from it. So it's very important for us that you have a look, and if it's a no, that's fine. I tend to say thank you for coming and spending the time to have a look. If it's not right now, that's okay, touch base later. So it's always about, is it okay? Does it work for you? So just a couple of last minute things, tips, things I've learned along the way. I guess most business owners, we're in it tooth and nail. We're working really, really hard. All our time, all our energy, everything, our focus is on our business, and it's often hard work. So you have to have a passion, and you have to have a vision that excites you. Because if you don't, then you wonder why you are actually doing it. Okay, and you do. There are days where you just look. I get days where I just sit there and I go, what am I doing? Oh my God, really? Maybe I should just go do something else. But then I remember what and why, and I go to a meeting and go, oh yeah, this is why I do it. These people are amazing. I love them. I'm loving what they create. That's my vision, my passion. My visions go through New Zealand. The passion is to let those people have a platform where they can create their magic. You've got to work out and create a pathway forward. It's like a boat leaving Lyttelton Harbour and having no coordinates. And so it goes out, and then it goes round and round and round and round, and eventually it'll run out of fuel, or it'll hit some rocks, or it might have to come back into the harbour. Have a trusted team of experts. This is one of the best things. If I have an issue with my accounts, I ring up my accountant. Well, I don't know what to do, and she will put me right very firmly, by the way. You know, if I'm going to do something in the marketing department, the marketing team will say yes or no. And if I go, but, they go, no. So you need those team of people around you to keep you going in the right direction, and surround yourself with positive and honest people. There's no point people buttering it up and telling you you're doing really marvelous when you're not. You're better off with people that go, actually, you know, I know you're trying your best, but let's have a look at this, and how do we make it better? How do we get you on the right pathway? Trust your intuition. Really, really important. And that's in all of life. And be kind to others, but more especially to yourself. Because I don't know about you guys, but that mind talk, it's pretty bad at times. And you need to hone it back down and go, well, hang on a minute. You know, okay, I didn't this and this and this, but I did do this. Got to keep looking after yourself. So just a couple of thoughts to finish this off. True networking does not mean meeting people. It means becoming the type of person other people want to meet. Okay, that's what you really want. And that can be because you're an expert in your field, or you're just someone that really cares, or whatever. And if you build great relationships and people get to like you for you, they will eventually promote what you do and would want to do business with you. So thank you very much. That's me done.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I will just sneak in with a couple of questions that we have. You may have covered them a bit when you spoke about, I guess, trying before you buy, but someone wanted to know how to learn who's in these groups to find your.
Sorry, you broke up a bit. So
no, that's sorry. That's on me. How do you find out who's in these groups to determine who's your match? You might have touched on it with your free, or your dipping your toes in.
What we actually have is we have one person per industry. So, you know, if you've got a lawyer in a group, you don't want another lawyer. It's to me, it's a sign of respect to somebody that they actually, the lawyer is the expert on the legals in that room, and you build your relationships with them. So, you know, and you have the same with an accountant, but you might have an accountant and a bookkeeper. The creatives get quite interesting because you can have someone that does web and graphics and marketing and social media. So then we look at, okay, what is your predominant thing? So we can have somebody in doing website, someone else who's just a graphic designer. And then sometimes we have somebody who is pretty much just the social media, digital marketing type stuff, but they might do a little bit of graphics. And so we get those people together, and in the end, as they get better, the business starts going around. So to answer your question, I normally, when somebody makes an inquiry, I actually ring them up and have a conversation. I find out what they do, and I find out a little bit about what location they're in, what day and time works best. And if there's several different options, we might talk about the dynamics in that group. but also ask the question of what do you want? Who do you want to mix with? Because the biggest group is not necessarily going to give you the most business. It's actually about, I've got some smaller groups that do huge amounts of business. So it's not always like that. So it's really what I do is when they go on the website and they ask to come along, I give them a phone call, we have a conversation, and from that conversation I can then determine what could be the best fit for them, and we talk about that, and then they can go and have a look. And they might go and look at a couple of groups and then come back to me and go, actually, this one feels like home. And that's often what they'll say, this one, I really relate to this group here, this bunch of people.
Awesome. Thank you so much. In a similar vein, do you know of, are there industry specific sort of sector networking groups?
We don't offer those. I'm sure that within some of the professional industries, they do have some networking, but I wouldn't be able to tell you too much about that. So
No,
sorry,
no worries.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That also might be a part-I question to ask our Connected team in Canterbury, though. And the final question I have, after saying that we weren't getting many questions in, we've really done you dirty here. Do your networking groups have an online presence or online way to keep connected, maybe Facebook or WhatsApp or?
We do. All our groups have their own private Facebook groups, so they can interact between that. We also have a Canterbury one. And we will, as we go into different regions, they will also have their own regional Facebook as well as the group ones. So the group ones are really for, someone might have a question, or someone might, like on the weekend. We also, some of the groups have chats, and the facilitators are in charge of that. So we had somebody who was running in the, what was it, across the mountain. I want to call it City to Surf, but it's not City to Surf.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast?
One of the ladies was in the coast to coast. She does endurance racing. And so, they were on the chat talking to each other about it. Other people, we might have something that's come up at a meeting, or there might be a presentation or a slide or something that we'll throw into a Facebook. They're particularly for a group. And then we have the Canterbury one is actually for people asking questions or wanting to promote or having a seminar or having something, which is where your one went, and that's for all the people in Canterbury. So online presence, website, Facebook, Instagram, and we're not on TikTok here, and LinkedIn.
Awesome.
And LinkedIn is the other one. So yeah, and again,
I want to see Maria on TikTok.
We might have your first snippets from today. You've done a very good job.
Yeah, so and again, talking about aligning with experts, I actually have people that do that. I don't do it. I wouldn't dream of doing it. I don't have time to do it. So that's my whole philosophy, is find somebody, align with them, get them to do those bits that you can't do. They do them really, really well. And then your brand has its presence and has, is really out there doing what it needs to be doing. So yeah, thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you. We just had one final question coming in there about from Nicola asking where to find you. So Maria, I have dropped your email address and the website for the networkers in there for you.
Cool.
Perfect. Thanks so much for that, Maria. A wonderful wealth of knowledge and experience in your groups and in your presentation, and with your background, where you've evolved from, like, just incredible. And anybody who gets to be part of one of your groups is very, very fortunate and privileged to have all that wealth of knowledge behind them and helping them evolve their own businesses. Just want to make a quick apology to those of our audience that dropped out. We're really sorry. We thought we were going to get through the day without a technical issue, but it's no fun if we don't. So we thought we'd throw one in the mix there. What I can tell you though is we will we've got the recording of both parts of this session, so we will get those uploaded and sent out so that everybody is able to view the end of Maria's presentation and hear any questions. And also, if you have any questions following that, then you'll be able to get in contact with us post this session as well. Diana, I just want to check in with you. We do have a promo that we've got running from our Digital Boost team. I can share screens if you like, and we can just quickly run over that before Tess closes and karakia for us if you like.
It sounds wonderful. Thanks so much, Angela. Thank you, Maria. That was absolutely amazing. And once again, apologies for that slight technical hiccup. We will actually have both recordings as in Angela shared, but we will actually cut those together so that it'll just be one recording. So people that are viewing it post today's session, they won't experience that same experience. And in saying that, that's just the great opportunity to share like now, like understanding digital technologies and how we can help you and your business understand the benefits of going digital. Please sign up to Digital Boost. It's been a wonderful day working with the business providers of Canterbury, and we're looking forward to being able to work with more of you tomorrow as we share all of the Chamber's benefits for the Canterbury region. Then of course on Thursday, once again, with the government agencies that are there to support the Canterbury businesses. Thank you to our team. They've done a wonderful job in hosting today. And yes, the promo that Angela has on screen, that is actually available for anyone that signs up to Digital Boost in the month of February. You go into the draw, there's 2 prizes, they're both $10,000 packages. They're a great opportunity for small businesses. Each prize contains one Microsoft Surface laptop provided by Spark, and then there's a digital marketing pack which is provided by K&J Growth, who actually are the digital marketing behind TikTok. They're a phenomenally experienced business, and we use them also on Digital Boost. And then of course you have our incredible support team at Digital Boost, and we have a Turbo Boost prize, which what that is Turbo, our digital support team working with your business and looking at your digital footprint and looking at areas that you could be doing better, and then helping you actually achieve those. So yeah, sign up. You've got to be in to win, and we'd love to have you on board. And thank you so much again for your time joining us today, and I'll hand it back to you, Angela and Tessa, to close our event. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Diana. Thanks again, Maria. We really appreciate you giving up your time today and joining us in the conference, and hopefully that you'll have a few more people sign up to your groups in the next few days or so post this event. Tess, I'm going to get you to close our session today with karakia. And again, just want to thank our audience for being here and participating. And it's brilliant to have you along. And do come along to any further sessions that we've got. Pop into the Connected website if you want to register for those. They're kicking off 1 o'clock tomorrow, and then 1 o'clock again on Thursday. Thanks, Tess.
Thanks, Ange. Awesome. Let us close the meeting. E te atua, kua mutu a mātou mahi, manakitia aku hoa me o mātou whānau I runga I te ingoa tapu. Āmene. Kia pai tōpō, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Nā mihi nui. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.